Hello and welcome to your practice. Today I wanted to offer some somatic movement for when the mind feels tired and is just maxed out. Because we are using our minds all day long, every single day for planning, organizing, problem solving, analyzing. And it is always on the clock. Even when we think we're resting, we still notice some mental activity going on in the background. And so it can be really hard to drop in to what is going on in our internal landscape. And that's something that somatic movement offers. It turns your attention towards the body. So instead of asking you to think yourself through how you're feeling, it invites you to have more of a felt experience that focuses your attention on to movement and breath and sensation and ultimately the present moment so that you can just tend to what is here. And so often we think that we need to think our way through things or that we need to think more and harder to find a solution. And even though it sounds counterproductive, oftentimes what we need is to think less and maybe just find stillness or movement or something different that can offer a new perspective and support curiosity and clarity. And so when you think about a baby who hasn't developed language yet, it is similar to our nervous system. It depends heavily on sensation and breath and felt experience to help us soothe and nurture and come back to a more regulated state. And so that's what we are going to weave into our practice today, is just have less words, less cueing, and just a free flow. And remember that it doesn't have to look any certain way. There's no right way to do this or any right way to move. It's just noticing what feels good in your body. And we don't know unless we wiggle around and explore and discover for ourselves. Rumi says that there's a voice that doesn't use words. Listen. Yes. And just like our nervous system, it doesn't use language to communicate its needs. And so we have to have a trained ear to listen to the subtleties of our nervous system. So with that, we'll start standing and we'll find our feet. And maybe just kind of like a cat, finding that sweet spot, just lifting and laying down each sole of the foot, maybe spreading the toes really wide and laying them back down. And then once you feel like you have found that sweet center spot, you can start to find stillness. And soften the knees, roll the shoulders down and back. And then maybe open the arms up to the sides. So bending the elbows, palms up. And feeling yourself being supported by the solid earth beneath you. And then also you supporting the space around you. And your eyes can be open or closed. And then maybe just start to find a little sway, starting small, shifting the weight into one foot and then the other. And just allowing the breath to flow naturally. And then maybe incrementally you start to get a little bit bigger. Maybe the arms start to lengthen out a little bit more. And then maybe the feet start to lift and walk out a little bit wider. Maybe you start to exaggerate this even more. Maybe getting the shoulders involved. And really just starting to feel into the body. And just noticing what's here. And don't worry about looking silly. And just allow yourself to move freely. I feel so often from people who are scared to dance. They're like, I don't know how to dance. And I often just say, just move. Just move your body. And whatever feels good, without judgment, without criticism. Good. Because there's no right or wrong way. You create it. Just like your life. Good. And then we'll start to wind it back down. Maybe start to slow down. And just finding this rhythmic dance, this fluid movement. Maybe the feet start to walk in a little bit. And then you gradually find yourself back in center. And the arms can rest down by the sides, maybe palm open. And then on your inhale, get wide, get big. Arms maybe come up into a Y. And then on an exhale, begin to curl yourself in. So drawing the arms in towards you. And then inhale, expand, get wide. And then exhale, curl it back in. Good. So moving with your breath, we'll stay here for several rounds. This expansion as you inhale and contraction as you exhale. And then maybe on your next exhales, you start to allow yourself to fall down towards the ground, and then inhale, lift yourself back up. And exhale, sink down. And then inhale, get wide into a star shape. Exhale, maybe sink a little bit lower, maybe you touch the ground. And inhale, come back up. Twice more. Exhale, scoop the energy up from the earth and bring it with you as you inhale. Last time, exhale, gather the energy. And inhale and exhale, release. Good. Bring the hands somewhere on the body, maybe one hand on the heart, one hand on the belly. And just breathe into the body. Feel the body press against your hands as you inhale and soften as you exhale. Good. And then start to bring in some taps, some little love taps on the body, maybe starting on the belly, the hips, and just going all around the body. So maybe down the legs, the feet, the glutes, the back of the hips, down the arms, just welcoming these little love taps to stimulate the nervous system. Really getting into the hands, maybe making a fist, and really tapping into the palms of the hands. Good. Maybe gently fingertips tap along the neck and the face. Good. And then coming back up and then taking a moment, maybe resting the arms down by the side and just observing the body. Maybe you feel some tingling sensation, some energy starting to awaken in the body. Good. And then we will come into some heel drops. So maybe bringing the feet about hip distance. And just as we've done throughout this whole practice, we'll start small and get bigger and bigger. And so I'll turn towards the side so you can see me. We're going to inhale, lift the arms up, heels lift up, and then exhale, drop the heels down, arms drop. So inhale, lift up onto the balls of the feet, and then exhale, just let yourself drop. Good. A couple more times like that. Inhale, and then exhale, let it all go. Feel this shake, this vibration in the body. And exhale, release. Good. This time, we're going to inhale, come up onto the balls of the feet, and then exhale, send the hips back, and exhale out. So inhale, come up onto the balls of the feet, and then exhale as you drop, bend the knees, send the arms back, send the hips back, and then come back. 3 more times. Really making an audible exhale, sending it out the mouth. Once more. And then inhale, and then exhale, hands to heart center. Good. We'll do one more little fun experiment here in tree pose. So we'll start with the left foot, left leg being our root, our standing leg. And then we will peel the right heel off the ground. And you find your variation of tree pose. Maybe it's like a little kickstand, toes are resting on the ground. Maybe it comes to the calf or the inside of the upper thigh. And start with hands at heart center. Maybe focus on something that's not moving initially. So find your solid, steady tree. And then we're going to knock ourselves off balance on purpose. So maybe you keep the eyes open or maybe you keep them closed. This really makes it tricky. And you start to extend the arms. Maybe they wave like the branches and leaves waving in the wind. And maybe notice experimenting when you keep the eyes open versus closed and how easy it is to get knocked off your balance. But just coming back in and just playing around, right? Not taking this so seriously. Doesn't have to be a perfect tree pose. It can look however you'd like. And just exercising our proprioception, where our body is in space. Good. And then we'll take one more moment here. And then whenever you're ready, you can release the right foot down, give a little shake out, and then we'll switch to the other side. So we'll plant the right foot down, soft bend in the right knee, and then begin to lift the left heel up off the ground. Find your version of tree. Maybe it's a kickstand up to the calf or the inner thigh. Very well will be different on each side. So listening to your body and going to what feels supportive. And then we'll bring hands to heart center. I know on my left side, I can't always get my left foot up as high. Good. And then we'll do that fun little playful experiment again. We inhale, the arms go wide, and then start to move around and move yourself off balance. Maybe coming forward, maybe leaning back, and just finding a sway. And can you keep the breath moving through, even as there is some unsteadiness, some instability? Maybe closing the eyes, adding a little bit extra challenge to the balance. And taking just a couple more moments here. And when you're ready, we'll meet back into Tadasana, mountain pose. And close out together with 3 deep rounds of breath. Maybe the arms stay by the side. Maybe you find a place on the body. And we'll take 3 rounds of breath together, breathing in through the nose and audible exhale out the mouth. Twice more. Inhale and exhale out the mouth. Once more. Inhale deeply and exhale, sigh it out. Great. Thank you so much for playing around with me. I hope you enjoyed this practice and can maybe take some of these somatic practices with you during times where your mind needs a break and you just need to move and kind of let loose and find some freedom in the body. I look forward to practicing with you again somewhere on your mat. Namaste.